This is Hunt Nebraska, the official podcast for insight into Nebraska's hunting and shooting sports community. Be sure to give us a follow on Facebook, our space for sharing stories, information, tips, and techniques. Now, Hunt Nebraska.
Welcome into the Hunt Nebraska podcast. It is October. We are days away from one of the big seasons for many upland hunters coming up. But before we get into what's all coming up, how about we do a quick round of introductions here in the cabin? We'll start over there on my right.
I'm Shelby Eisenseed, the Hunting and Shooting R3 Coordinator for the National Wild Turkey Federation in partnership with Nebraska Game and Parks.
I'm Rachel Carlson, the Nebraska Game and Parks Shooting Range/Sports Coordinator.
I'm Kyle Gaston, the Hunter Education Coordinator with Nebraska Game and Parks. And there we also have a special guest today visiting us on Zoom. I'll let him go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Bryan O'Connor. I'm the Upland Game Program Manager for Nebraska Game and Parks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bryan, for coming back. We had a good time here about last month when season's all kicked off for grouse. And I know a few of us in here have been able to go out and chase after grouse. Bryan, have you been able to sneak out for an afternoon or a morning to chase out those elusive creatures out there?
I have not been out chasing them yet, actually. So I've been seeing quite a few just for my time out and about for other reasons, but not behind a gun or a dog yet.
At least let your dog run around some trying to find them at all?
Oh, yeah, they get their chance to run.
Very good. And then I know, Rachel, you and I both kind of hit up the same spot, just different days there, just days apart. We were trying to be as useful as our time out north central Nebraska, I think is the best way to describe it.
I like how vague you're being with the location.
Yes.
Can't give up our secrets. Yeah, I don't know what you saw out there. Actually, I didn't have a chance to ask you, I think, but I flushed a total of 6 grouse, 3 with the vehicle and 3 on foot. And some of those last 3 might have been a repeat.
Chasing it from one spot to the other.
Mm-hmm.
That means you probably put in a couple miles if you were chasing it from one spot to another.
Yeah, I definitely, when I heard the last podcast about grouse, I was empathizing with what Hershey said about the grouse just coming to flush as soon as you're getting close to your vehicle and then running far away from it, because some of those hills were a little bit of a climb back to the car.
Yes. And then I had the opportunity. I was paying too close attention over to what my dog was doing, and out to a little bit off, about 20 yards away from us, where all of a sudden they got up, and I was a little slow to pull the trigger.
Dun, 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 dun.
So I might have had a dog that ran up to the edge of the hill, stopped, saw him flying away, and then just looked back at me. He's like, "What did you do? What's going on? I can't retrieve those."
Do you ever take a picture of Kona when she looks super disappointed?
No, because hopefully I'm not making her too disappointed in life, but that was definitely one chance I could have.
She's like, I'm not going out with you next time. Finding somebody else.
Yeah, she might do that from time to time. I don't know. Bryan, you might be able to sympathize a little bit about dogs wondering why birds aren't coming down or why we aren't shooting when you scare up a bird at all.
Oh, you guys actually miss?
I took one shot, and I knew I was far behind it. It was more like just so I could say that I'd shot out there, but I knew I wasn't going to touch anything.
Yeah, my dogs have given me that look before from time to time.
Mm-hmm. That's all right. It keeps us humble, and we get to use one of the many excuses all hunters have, such as the sun was in my eyes, they were too close, they're too far away.
I feel like I have a very good excuse because I didn't have a dog out there with me. I was flushing it myself.
They should be closer then.
Shush, Shelby. I need a crutch, please. Help me out.
Oops.
See, my dog was pointed in a different direction, so that's what, no.
Oh my God. If Kona was in here right now, she'd be like, that.
She'd be laying over by you guys instead of me right now.
She's like, new owner.
Very good. Well, like I said, we had a good time talking grouse with you, Bryan, here about a month ago. But when it comes to upland hunting, and when a lot of people think hunting really takes off for these shotgunners, it is this coming weekend for the Pheasant opener. Now, last weekend would have been our youth opener going on. And so we got some of the youth out there. seeing that. We had release sites around that released a bunch of birds. So there's a good times around for everybody there. But now coming up this weekend will be our pheasant opener. And so we are excited for that coming up. So what's the exact day? Shelby, you were just saying it a minute ago what the opening day is.
October 25th.
Very good.
It's Christmas.
There it is. Christmas for upland hunters. Got it. So not only do we have pheasants opening up that day, but also quail and partridge. So a lot of great things going on. And so when it comes to opening day, Bryan, what can hunters expect to see out there this opening day with the pheasant population and quail populations going on?
Yeah, so from what we've been hearing from around the state from our field biologists and also from what we saw this spring and summer during our surveys, it looks like we should have a pretty good quail population throughout our quail range. So, the heart of that being our south central and southeast parts of the state, but even the little further southwest, central, and northeast should see some decent quail populations. Then our pheasant population looks to be up still from where we've been. Getting back to some pretty decent hunting this year. Our highest numbers, we would probably find those in the southwest and southern panhandle areas. So
awesome.
And these are the rural mail carrier surveys, and along with your biologist surveys?
Yeah, so for pheasant, the main source of surveys we use is the rural mail carrier survey. And then, field reports from biologists. We do a few crow count routes and things like that. In the Southwest, we've been doing in kind of one of our focus areas down there. And those are up a lot as well this last year. So, but then for quail, we utilize those rural mail carrier route surveys as well as our spring whistle count surveys as well.
And I've seen the April and the July reports on our website. Is there going to be an October one coming out soonish?
We'll have an October one coming out. It'd probably be here right about the time, season opens. Usually when we kind of get that, it runs for that first week of the month is when we run it. And by the time we get survey cards back and things like that and get stuff analyzed, it's usually towards the end of the month, generally by the time we get that all processed and put together. So it should be coming here the next week or two.
Awesome. I know I was looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
And I have had the opportunity to do both crow and whistle counts. And I guess it might be an early morning, getting out there by sunrise or 30 minutes before sunrise. You have to kind of get out there early.
Yep. Yeah, 30 minutes before sunrise.
Yep. And then
for your crow count.
Sit there at one spot for a couple minutes, count how many crows or whistles you hear, drive down to the next data point, and wait there for the next amount of calls, and just keep waiting, going from spot to spot and tracking how many you're hearing. So it's quite when you talk about watching wildlife wake up or listening to wildlife wake up, it's a fun time there. You can tell you get put next to a noisy cow or somebody else that just kind of blocks everything else out.
But isn't that true? Like almost any time you go out in nature or you're sitting in your blind, there's always some critter that's just annoying the absolute crud out of you.
It could be Shelby's favorite one that we all know now. The
Squirrels. That's the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, squirrels.
During spring turkey, we had these geese that just would not shut up. And if it were, during a waterfowl season, that would have been great. But they were just out there in the field honking their heads off. And man, by the time that hunt was done, I was just so ready to be out of there.
If only it was a snow goose.
Yeah.
No. So, great to hear that the population is going up. I know I have stuff planned to go out to the southwest part of the state for opening weekend, so I'm excited to hear numbers are doing well. And I think another big factor that led to those numbers, I don't know if you've really touched on it much, was this year wasn't near as dry as the last few years, and so you've been able to see a little bit better roosting, nesting period, and brooding period where there's actually a little bit more cover, a little more vegetation. Or is there any other factors that went into why you think bird populations are up just a little bit?
Yeah, it's kind of a compounding thing. The last 2 years, we haven't been as dry as we were. We had about 3 years there from starting in 2020 where we were real dry, saw consistent hanging and grazing of our CRP due to drought conditions and stuff. So there wasn't a lot of habitat being left out there. after that, and not much regrowth or anything. So these last 2 years of actually getting some rainfall and some vegetation growth, we had some good cover coming into the nesting season. We were a little dry to start with, but that was all right, going through the nesting as we picked up afterwards. And we got some more good vegetation growth and a lot of insects during that brooding season. So, it's a couple things. Mother Nature finally cooperating is a big factor there. So, and not having a brutally harsh winter this last year helps a little bit too, carrying over into that breeding season as well. So
awesome. That's great news. Hunters, I know, are excited out. I know, Shelby, I was just talking to you and you were just reading up on the latest Nebraska Land magazine. They had an article there about quail habitats. Mm-hmm. What did give a little snippet of what they would find out to check out Nebraska Land?
Oh, I did not finish that article. Oh.
Come on, put you on the spot there.
Yeah, I did not finish that article.
Okay, because you're excited because it's first chance to go after bobwhite quail, correct?
Yeah, I mean, outside of what the article said, I mean, I've been running 12 on a lot of public land, and when we're hunting other things, like she's gotten up coveys the quail. So it's pretty, I'm ready. I've waited 3 years for this. Pheasants are like, okay, cool, it's a pheasant. But bobwhites, man, if I wanted a bobwhite for so long.
And let me tell you, every time she heard one during the summer, we'd hear about it because she'd be like, guess how many I heard when I was out here? Oh, I was out in Grand Island. I heard him here. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you were somebody mentioned they had, maybe it might have been Julia Plugi with She Goes Outdoors. She was mentioning that she might have some hanging around her place. Mm. And it's like, well, if you really want to hear them, just come out this evening. You can come listen to them. So,
I mean, the one spot that a covey at 12, or not 12, it was like 20 that got up. That was big blue stem, which is what I would expect them to be in, next to a little crop field that was there. So,
yes,
food and cover, a little bit of water.
Yep.
Oh, and speaking of habitat, Brian, let's start with pheasant. If we're going out this upcoming pheasant season, I know a lot of farmers are getting quite a bit of crops out of the field, but for the beginning, for a season opener, what are some of the ideal spots to check out to find these pheasants?
Yeah, so when you're hitting the field, it's going to depend a lot on the time of year and the weather pattern we're in at the time. So generally that early season, they're kind of transitioning from that summer, fall habitat into their winter habitat. So more of those kind of edge of your kind of weedy edge stuff into a little bit of grass where it's not really getting too terribly cold yet and things like that. We're not hitting the harsh part of winter. They're not in the real heavy grass for the most part for roosting. They can roost in a lot lighter cover, so they're going to utilize that more so they can get around easier as well and take advantage of some waste grain and annual seeds, things like that. So, but then as we move further into the season and stuff like that, and it progresses and starts getting a lot colder, and we start getting some snow, you'll see them start getting into that heavier cover. So,
yep, and that's that. Especially after that first snow, you start getting into those heavy cover, those thick weeds and some of those plum thickets, those type of things. So that's where you'll tend to find them, where they have their little alleyways to run through. So early on, those field edges seem to be very popular spots, especially farmers like to keep as much green as possible in the truck, but every once in a while some spills out over the top edge or gets wasted on that edge, and you'll just find a group of pheasants just running along those field edges to pick up where they're transferring stuff from the tractor to the trailer. So it's a fun time getting out there, and the quail have similar habitat, but maybe a little bit different when you're really just looking for quail. For example, Shelby's hunting excursions this year.
Yeah, as far as our quail go, a lot of times we've referred to it as edge, but they're looking for, they don't use that heavy grass near as much. Even later in the year, they utilize more of the shrubby cover and real weedy stuff and things like that because, smaller bird, harder time getting around and things. So when they get that real heavy cover, so they utilize the more open underneath habitat and things like that. So.
Awesome. And then before anybody gets out going out hunting, there's a few things you're going to make sure you have before you take off. So make sure you have all your required permits and, make sure, depending on where you're at, maybe the correct sort of ammunition and that type of stuff. So I'll put in my plug here since it does fit in my role is hunter education is required for those 12 through 29. So make sure you have that hunter ed requirements. A lot of our classes are coming to a close for the busy time of our year. We still have some out there, so get on our website at huntsafenebraska.org to find it. If you can't find a class and you need to get out, what I like to call our last-minute planners who decide the day before you're going to go hunting but don't have hunter ed, we do have an exemption certificate that allows you to go hunting with a licensed adult, so 19 years or older. As long as you're always by their side, can be seen and talk to them without any assistance, so no phones or no binoculars to see them or anything like that. You have to be unaided visual and verbal communications with them. But there is an exemption to allow you to go out hunts and then give you a little time before you get your hunter ed. But that's only good for the end of the year and the following calendar year, so there's not giving you a ton of time. So get on there to find a class or get notified from when a class is around you. But if there's any class you can make, take advantage of it right away, because there's not many classes being left posted this year, because our volunteers are going to be out there right next to you hunting too, so they'll be excited for it. So hunter ed, one of the requirements.
And I'd add on for those 16 and older last-minute planners.
Yes.
You can do it 100% online.
That is correct.
You don't necessarily have to find an in-person class. So that opportunity is still out there.
Mm-hmm. Very good point. And then when it comes to having your permits and your license and all that, Rachel?
Well, I'll do my checklist, and then former CO, you'll double check if I have everything.
I'll see.
So small game permit.
Yep.
All right. And then my habitat stamp, and then my HIP number.
Don't need the HIP number?
Oh, for these guys? Well, okay,
Nope.
because I needed
You're
it
good
for
for
dove.
You need it for dove,
I have it
yep.
anyway.
So these birds are more residential. They don't
Okay. They're
travel
not
across.
migratory. Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
So get your over 16, get your hunt permit and your habitat stamp. Good to go. Now, depending on where you go, there might be some wildlife production or waterfowl production areas or some of our wetland areas that even though you're not hunting waterfowl, you still need to use steel shot or a non-toxic or lead-free, whichever phrase you like to use. So just make sure you know where you're going to hunt, what type of ammunition you might need. And then, Shelby, this question was asked to the group earlier this year. I'm new to hunting pheasants. Mm-hmm. I have my 20 gauge. I know I'm going to go hunt with the 20 gauge. What shotgun shell should I buy?
We should really post the handout that I created. Cause
Yes, we need to.
Everyone asked me, and I'm like, oh, funny you ask. I have this super handy-dandy handout.
It might make its appearance right here on the podcast. Like, hey, look at me.
Hey, check that handout. So the handout, what it does is it tells you shot size, but there's a chart at the bottom that tells you your lead-free options. So you have steel, tungsten, bismuth, and then it goes off of what species you're hunting. So let's say I'm hunting pheasant. If you have an over and under, it'll give 2 choke recommendations. And then off of if you're using lead or non-toxic, it'll give you a shot size recommendation.
Awesome. So what's the general range? So we're going to tell everybody to look at this. The general range for opening day. How about this? What are you going to go take out hunting?
I think it really depends on the person, because especially for pheasants, some people are very specific that they're like, oh, I'll only shoot 4 shot at pheasants. And I'm like, I shoot 6 shot early season because they're not that hardy of a bird yet. Late season, I'll go higher in my shot size. So I may go up to that 4, maybe even a 2 if it's like January.
And so just for those of us that aren't clear on what those sizes mean, those smaller numbers mean bigger shot.
Higher number is a smaller shot. So yes. Smaller
Yep.
number is a bigger shot. Yeah. And that
I said it that way just to confuse
wait
you.
a minute. Hold on. It's on the handout too. There's
Yes.
a diagram of the shots. So you'll see that like an 8 is a lot smaller than a 1.
I think this might be a Hunt Nebraska Facebook post too, potentially.
Oh, I totally agree. But you can also Google, like, what is a recommended
Yes.
shot size
Yeah.
for this choke size at this particular species of game, and it will get you a rough estimation for what you need to take out.
Quail, I have 7.5 right now is what I use for shot size for quail.
And if you're at the store and you listen to us in the car right here and have a chance to look anything up, you just show up to the store. If you go up to the ammo case and start looking at different things, they actually put pictures on there trying to help you figure out what it is. So you look for the one that looks like a pheasant and match up to your gauge. So if you have a 20 gauge and you know you're going to need non-toxic for where you're going to shoot, then you'll go grab that steel shot or non-toxic, and it'll have a list of like, all right, ideal for these species. Mm-hmm. So it does help you out a little bit to figure out there on the box to give you a good starting point. So we can get picky, like I said, between a 4 and a 6. There is differences. However, for first time, there's not going to be a ton of things you're going to see differently. So, but typically that 4 to 6 for pheasant you'll see, and then that little bit light, the smaller shot for the smaller birds, just so you're not don't need to overpower them there.
So you have a bird left.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's a surprising amount of that bird that when you have it in your hand, you figure out his feathers,
Yes.
and you want to try and actually have most of that bird when you're done shooting it.
Now, I heard stories from Hershey and his dog Ruby that after they got a grouse on one shot earlier, but when Ruby came back, it was more all you could see in her, or after she gave the bird up, was a mouth still full of feathers. Hopefully, you guys saw that picture too.
I have not.
It was pretty fun. We finally got the bird back because Ruby's still a puppy, and so shot the bird. Ruby saw it kind of bounce up a little bit. She did a great job jumping on top of it, and then being the new dog, not formally trained yet, just getting outdoor and exposed. Hershey maybe was standing on the right side of the screen, and Ruby took off running to the left side of the screen away. Within a minute or two, Ruby finally came back and gave the bird, but it was definitely after maybe playing a little bit and getting all those under feathers, those soft feathers that pop up everywhere. But
She'll learn. She's having fun.
she'll learn. Hershey will get her trained in. That's just the excitement of getting a dog getting its first bird is always fun, and to see that drive and intensity without any training to go get that bird and bring it back is great.
It's like a dog's confetti. It is.
That's a good way to put it.
All right, so Bryan, we probably need to get back on track here. Sometimes we get a little off track, as Megan calls them, squirrels. Got a little squirrely there. I mean, we could, if you had your pick of all the different areas you've listed for hunting this year, which region would you pick to go hunt this year?
I mean, I would choose the central, but that's just because that's where I live.
The convenience is there too.
Outside,
Oh,
my
for
back
sure.
door to hunt. But no, I think it depends what the hunter's got in mind. If they're targeting pheasant, I'm probably going to hit up the southwest. If you got quail in mind, I'm probably going to go south central to southeast, somewhere in there. And if you're looking for kind of a mixed bag, I just targeted a little bit of that south central to the western part of the south central kind of in there. You get a good mix of quail, pheasant down in there. And even a little bit of chicken if you're lucky in some of those places, a little on the further west side of that part over there.
Nice. So then for those of us who might be like you and want to hunt a little closer to home, Kyle's got it in his hand there. What would be a good way to find some hunting areas that are either in those regions or nearby to where you're living?
So your best options are Public Hunting Atlas. So you can pick up hard copy of that at any of our offices. Pretty much anywhere that sells game licenses should have copies of those as well. Or you can also, if you like to, a little tech savvy, you can access that on our website. You can navigate to it and use it on your phone as well. Some other hunting apps got it, like Onyx as well, have all the properties in our OFW program, along with our state and federal lands as well. One nice thing about the hard copy of the Atlas, like Kyle mentioned about the non-toxic shot, it's actually got a list in the back of all of the state and federally owned sites and that are open for hunting, and lists whether or not they are non-toxic shot required. So it's a nice little thing to look at before you head out, because quite a few of those wetland production areas do require that non-toxic shot.
Yeah. I mean, my cheat code for that is I just have non-toxic shot for hunting for all that stuff, and I don't have to try and sort it out. But yeah,
Same. If
if you're looking to see what the difference is, all of that is marked on that list in the back of the Atlas.
Well, and it does a good job too. Like I said, it has a special deal for non-toxic shots or target shooting prohibited. So also let you know you can go target shooting there. But then also has other regulations and information. So certain places here, such as the Upland NRD, which is over in the southwest part of the state, this is all walk-in access, but archery and shotgun use only. No trapping, no dogs on property from May 1st to July 31st. No use of tree stands, pack in and out. So it has special regulations for each of these locations too. So if there's anything unique about it, then they can find out about it too. So once you find your property, you can then look in the back for it to find more information. Or if you're on the website, you just click on it and it pops up right there for you.
Yeah, I love using the online searchable public access atlas. It's really helpful. But I also love my hunting app on my phone, but I will always back it up and double check on that public access atlas just to make sure that that information is current.
I had to do that this season because on Onyx
Yeah,
it didn't show that it was public, but then like people were hunting. And I was like, gosh, that seems so weird. So then I pulled up the atlas while I was sitting there. I was like, wow, that's public, and I had no idea. So then I hunted it the next day.
There you go.
Hidden treasures in the atlas. What can we say?
Yeah.
The other part too, especially when it comes to upland hunting, is I enjoy using their color-coded feature for what types of property they are. Brian, I'm sure you've probably done this yourself, but differences between red and yellow. So red is our actual CRP, our Conservation Reserve Program. So those are fields that are planted into those prairie grass focus, or sometimes pollinator focused, or just our general CRP sign up. So just general grassland. However, it's more of your ideal habitat for your upland species. Yellow could be a mixture of, is it in that CRP program, but maybe it's pasture land, maybe it is some fallow, it could be different types of properties they have there. So you looking at the map, it's always good to look and see what colors, because usually that red is usually the ideal habitats. But if you can find that next to field edges, it's always good too. So if you always go online with the satellite imaging, then you can actually look to see, is that right next to that ideal habitat next to a cornfield? And that's where you can start finding some of that habitat we talked about for early season right next to the field edge between the grassland. So scouting always works great, but you can do a little bit of scouting online too, or using some of our tools and maps here. I don't know, Brian, do you have any other tips or tricks for using the Public Hunting Access Atlas?
What you mentioned there is a great one. They're using the different color schemes and stuff like that to really figure out what kind of habitat it might be, and then backing it up with either things like Onyx or Google Maps and things to see what that landscape actually holds. So especially, quail hunting, looking for some of those CRPs with some of the yellow next to it, maybe that got woody draws, or some, purple that's showing stubble access and things like that. That's another great guide for that southwest, south central area with all the wheat and milo stubble that gets enrolled into the hunting access as well. Those are things not to overlook for pheasant and quail.
And you mentioned at the next one, wanted to bring along wheat stubble. We don't you do a whole separate publication on some wheat stubble access. Is that correct?
Yeah. So it's its own insert to go along with the regular atlas. We publish it about a month later than what the atlas comes out, just due to when the wheat and milo harvest is later than what we normally publish our atlas. So it comes out later. It normally covers about maybe a quarter of the state, just based off of where we actually get, wheat and milo enrollment. So it's, small portion of the state that actually still uses that in their rotations and stuff. So it's mainly the southwest, south central, and southern panhandle areas that have those enrollments. We're getting a few further east a little bit, but for the most part, it's that area over there. And that'll have all the wheat and milo fields that are enrolled, as well as any other OFW fields as well, regular ones. They all get put in that. So if you're hunting that south central southwest, make sure you're picking up that stubble access guide.
Very good. And are you hoping to have that out by season date, or are you going to see a few weeks afterwards?
Nope, that'll be published. It should be out here anytime.
Awesome.
So it'll be out before our opener. So
very good. That's exciting, because that wheat stubble, especially you get next. That's one of my favorite things to do, is that wheat stubble field. So all that has to be 18 inches or a certain height that stubble has to be. That's then habitat then for those upland species. You get that right next to some canyon draw, some of that yellow picture in yellow in the book. And that's where I like to hit, especially kind of a little bit later season. You get a bunch of pheasants going into the wheat stubble for food, and then head back to the canyons for cover. So some interesting habitats and different ways to go hunting, because when I first started, I didn't think about walking through a wheat field to go find birds, but hey, that's where I've shot quite a few quail actually, even out of.
It's got to be a little easier to find them in some stubble too versus like big old thick grass.
It's definitely a little easier walking through there than it is than walking through 6 foot tall brush versus walking through knee high wheat stubble. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they still like to run and hide.
My favorite thing about like the big blue stem that's like 6 feet tall is all the spider webs. So you just keep getting the spider webs in your face.
I'm pretty sure that's why you let me all lead out to that field when we were going dove hunting, because I hit all the spider webs.
Oh, so that's the reason we were walking in a line and having a tall person in front. Because it doesn't work if let's say, out hunting with Megan and she led. It doesn't work because I still keep getting the webs in my face.
All the face level ones are still there for you. Yeah. You're welcome.
And even if you like see one, you swerve around it, then you walk into another one, you're like, should have just taken it. Mm-hmm.
Oh well.
Very good. Well, we did a lot on where to hunt for some hunters, whether new or current. I'll push this question out. I'll pick on you first, Brian. What's some other tips or tricks, or give me one thing that's particularly new hunters should know before they go out hunting pheasants or quail?
Especially pheasants, they love to run. So cover some ground. They're actually pretty smart. Don't be afraid to switch things up and do them a little different. Do things backwards of what you maybe think you should, just to kind of try to fool them a little bit, especially when you're hunting public land. They get used to hunting pressure, so you got to mix things up to catch them off guard.
Very good. I know I'll let you guys go first. I'll keep mine for the end. Shelby or Rachel, do either of you have a good tip or trick for pheasant hunting?
I haven't done enough of it to have any good tips or tricks at this point.
Shelby, do you have any tips for Rachel?
For Rachel?
Yes.
Well, just some tips from running events so far is please check what choke is in your gun. I've had a lot of people be like, I don't know, I've never checked it. And I'm like, you have a full in. I was like, you better be spot on if you're going to hunt. So always check that. And I think the biggest thing is if pheasants like keep getting up or whatever, and it's just constantly hens, don't give up on pheasant hunting. Like there was a time where I went 50 miles in a season and it was a lot of hens, and then I finally got a rooster. But I mean, like Brian was saying, they'll get up at 60, 70 yards, especially later in the season. They get so jumpy.
So it sounds like what I'm hearing from Shelby is we should also do some walking around to make sure that we're in shape for hopping around in the field.
Yeah.
Well, hold on.
It's not the same there as a grouse hunt, I would say.
When I talk about hunting, this is why when I mentor people, I'm like, how do you want to hunt? Because I can go 10 miles a day. Mm-hmm. Not everyone can go 10 miles a day. So I adjust to how physically fit they are to do. So like if you only want to do 3 miles, we'll do 3 miles, and I'll just pick specifically, like look at the atlas, go scout the land before you go hunt it to see if it's good habitat, and then you're not wasting so much time walking around aimlessly.
Maybe I'll adjust that. Don't walk so far away from your vehicle that you can't walk back.
Oof.
That's a good point.
Or that you're so far away and then you're like, my dog needs more water and I'm out.
Mm-hmm. Know your limits.
Yes.
Another one, if you're lucky to hunt with a dog, trust your dog. That the first year hunting with a dog,
that should be number one.
Is dog knows more than I know. You gotta give him credit for that, because as Brian mentioned, these birds are smart birds. They're alive for a reason. They make a living, or as Hershey mentioned, they make a living staying alive. So, yeah, I know, right?
They make a living staying alive.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Until they don't.
Yeah.
That sounds like some kind of Zen Cohen thing that I don't.
Anyways, but the fact of the matter is they'll do things you don't expect them to do at all. So just trust your dog. When I had my dog go to a bare spot on the ground looking for a bird, I didn't trust her at first, and I finally let her go and like, oh, look, there's a bird. She knows what she's doing. So trusting the dog to go through there, and that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's always a good option. So.
And my dog's trained where I don't have to yell her name or constantly yell at her. I'll whistle, or I'll just use the beeper. She has a tone on her collar where it just beeps. And so then that limits me just shouting. So the birds are like, what's going on?
You ever do the Bob White whistle at her to see how she reacts?
I have not. I haven't even thought about that.
Should try that sometime.
don't worry, I'm free. Oh, I'm not free this weekend. Just kidding. I have an event. The next weekend's opener. We'll do it during the week.
We'll have to see how that goes.
Yes. And then my other one is use some of your natural barriers, because as Bryan mentioned, these birds like to run. So you get a fence, you get a edge of a road, you get a creek, you get some of those. Walk, kind of push everything towards that direction so it hits that natural barrier, and that makes the birds actually then get up. So you might walk that entire field, think there's nothing there, and then all of a sudden you get to that end of the field. No, there's all the birds. They've just been running from me this entire time, and now they can't run.
I didn't know that. That's a good tip.
Yes, I have that happen a lot, especially with pheasants. Like, you keep pushing them in the grass, and it gets to a field that's been picked, and they'll fly then. So they're like, uh-oh, no more cover.
Yes.
Run.
Fly.
Get out.
So, very good. So we mentioned the Public Access Atlas is a good resource. I believe there's also an Upland Outlook forecast that you maybe help put together, Bryan, and some other resources. So where can hunters find a few more resources before hunting season kicks off here?
Yeah, if they go to our Outdoor Nebraska and click on the, I believe it's conservation tab, and go to wildlife or something like that. But if you navigate to our Upland page on there, you can find our Outlook, find our wildlife surveys for the year. You can look back at what those survey results for and stuff. So, but yeah, that Outlook is a kind of a summary of all of our surveys we did for the year and our biologist input from the field, what they're seeing and stuff. So it kind of puts all that together for you in a nice, clean cut deal to easy read for you.
Very good. I know I've got Hershey looking at it a few times here. I know he's itching to go out there, and as well as many of us in here. So, well, Bryan, do you have any other final thoughts here to wrap up before we let you go that the world needs to know about Nebraska pheasant season, quail season?
No, it's just we got a great diversity of game out there. It's always fun to be out, so take advantage of it. And got our Upland Slam running again this year. So
yes,
if you like to challenge yourself a little bit, you can do that. So,
and as I think Shelby pointed out, the dogs also can enter into it as well.
They get a tag.
That's right.
It's all about the dog does the most work. I actually just watched that podcast before I came in because I'm someone who likes to watch the podcast, even though I was in the podcast, because somehow
there's our subscribers.
It's funnier after the fact. Like, I'll just be sitting in my office laughing. I'm like, oh, I hope nobody's just like, is she working? I mean, it is work.
It's technically work. Yeah.
I'm evaluating myself in the podcast while laughing. But yeah.
Awesome. So make sure check out all the resources we have available. Rachel, Shelby, any final parting words before I go? Make sure I'm not missing anything off the checklist there, since Rachel looks nice and official today with the clipboard.
I brought a clipboard because I'm tired of having the paper flop everywhere. So, shh. Do it again.
And we're getting more and more off the rails.
So it's probably time to wrap it up.
Yeah,
I don't have anything
is.
else.
I would agree with Bryan, though. Like, compared to other states I've hunted, this has got such a diversity of birds, and they're all in different types of habitat that you get to take in and just enjoy being out there. So definitely get out there, chase them, have fun, bring your hunting partner, whether it's your dog or another person. Maybe bring someone new that's never seen them.
Absolutely.
So.
I might.
And have good boots.
Yeah.
That's my final tip. Mm-hmm. Have really good boots.
Yep.
Awesome. Very good. Well, thank you all for listening in here. Make sure to like and subscribe. And then if you're listening to this even after season, go ahead and post those pictures of all the pheasants you guys are getting. We really love seeing those pictures come through. Also, be able to check out, we'll make sure we'll be sharing out some of our other information, such as what type of ammo you should be buying, and as well as maybe some forecast stuff coming up too. And coming up as well in the future, we might be also talking a little bit of deer hunting here with some biologists too. So there's some exciting things going on.
Can feel it coming. Can feel deer season getting closer.
Busy times. But yeah, make sure to stay tuned with all we're doing on both our Hunt Nebraska Facebook page, YouTube channel, wherever you can find us for podcasts. Otherwise, have a safe hunting trip out there, and we'll see you outdoors.
Hunt Nebraska, brought to you by your Nebraska Game and Parks Commission.